told myself to get up and let's go, y'all. And so today, even though I have already made a video on homeschool, Journey Homeschool Academy, our science, we are continuing them with chemistry. So today I just want to show you, like, when you log in, what do you get as a parent? What does your kids' interface look like? I probably will have to use the biology interface so you can kind of see it, but I will incorporate video where I can. And so we're going to take a look inside of the student book, their lab book, and how I set up my planner. They get their own emails. And so for parents, you have a student management section that you click on. And then once this comes up, it has every course that you could possibly register for. And these are co-op things. So I have bio and chemistry. You only do get 12 months access. If you want longer than that, it is $30 a month of an extension. I would love to see that become to 15 months, but neither nay or they. So I registered for 2 students, and so when you go in there and start this, you have to give them an email. You can do a plus in their name, and then it will come to your email. And so that's how I have them set up. I don't do it because once you do this, it starts your 12-month thing. So they give you in here parent curriculum guide, a master schedule, alternative textbook reading schedule. We did not use a textbook at all with this. I do have supplemental stuff for books for chemistry this year. Lab supplies that you need. There's some work that you need to do in lesson 10. Lesson plans. This is new this year. They have a grade calculator, which I use for bio. It is awesome. Not necessarily this year, but they updated to have a calculator. And so this calculates labs, research questions, tests, and quizzes. Or you can just do quizzes and tests. It gives you the option. And then all of these are downloadable. So some of these I have printed out, which I will show you in a minute. But yeah. So guidebook, lab guide. This is the textbook that they are recommending. Extra homework questions, lab report template, and then you have your answer keys. They have homework help videos, which I did like as far as for the math part of this. Primary homework question answers, extra homework question answers. This is all of the answers. I really don't, I have this, but I don't know how you use it because you can't see the question. I feel like I'd rather have the answer to their study guides because then you could help them study. But yeah. And then they give you sample lab reports. There's so much on here that you get. So then another thing with student management is this is where their grades will all be kept. And so yeah, that's what it looks like online. Let's check out inside the books real quick. So this is the student book. And if you go inside the student book, which is wonderfully printed, I did not want to do this again this year because I don't double side print most of the times. And this is almost 300 sheets of paper. So I was like, no, because that's almost 1 ream of paper. So I was like, no, I'm just going to pay the extra. This was like 20-something bucks. And yeah, why not? And so for chemistry, of course, there's 35 lessons. And then they always get vocabulary with every lesson. And then this is filling all the notes. I do like that I see some questions that they're asking without it being a part of the video. Usually if they watch through the whole video, they will be able to fill in all of this stuff. One thing I do like about the notes section, now that's in the book and not on a printer piece of paper, is they do get a research question every week. So this, I would love for them to write their research question and write the answer right in the book so I could check everything in the book too. That would be awesome. Here goes another note page, and it just goes on and on and on. The other thing I will want to show you is If I can find one really quick. Let's see if number 7 is an exam. Nope. Yep, here we go. So every so often there's a study guide, and they give you terms to study, and then they give you a bunch of questions to actually go and look up. This is what I was talking about having the answers to this so that it could kind of be a help for them to study for the exam faster versus them having to really go look up everything. And so, yeah, this chemistry does have math in it. All right, so the lab book came without like it does have a hard thing, but it didn't have anything to hold it, and it was 3-hole punch. So I just got like a heavier folder and put that joker right in there. And so the lab, again, let's open this up. There are 34 labs. We try to do at least 15 because then that gives you credit for having lab as a part of your transcript and all that good things. So, it gives you guidelines. Then it gives you instructions, and then you have your lab notes. So I do like that you can write your lab report right in here. Love it. Yeah, I probably should order these last year. I feel like printing and trying to keep up with all the things was a little much. So this is what the labs look like. All of them do not have lab reports. So that's another thing to keep in mind. But I do love that they do have a place for you to actually write the actual lab report. They do have a different template that you can fill out. Last year, I just downloaded the template and they actually filled it out in Google. But I am happy to have everything in one place for this year because keeping up with it all and the printer paper and the pages falling out was just we wasn't having it. So, yeah. And as far as my binder for chemistry, you see, still got biology in it too. But, so basically I go in and print out the master schedule, and this is how they set it up, the lesson. And this is just laying it out for you to kind of let you see what it looks like and how your week could work out. And then your things that you need for your lab. If you're doing your lab, I like to go through the actual thing and pick out the labs that we're going to do. This year, I feel like the labs are probably going to be more powder, liquid type things. I haven't ordered the kit yet because I'm still figuring that out. Again, so I printed out the homework answer questions, and a lot of these are basically for the math that goes with chemistry. And so chemistry, even though I know a lot of people like to do it without the math, we're just gonna go right in. And honestly, if it's something that we need to like skip, or we need to find somebody to get us through the lesson, that's what we gonna do. And so yeah, those are question answers. And basically what else I have in here, where's my other tab? Quiz and exam solutions. I won't really show those. And that's again for the math. This is the template for the lab report, kind of what you want to put on your lab report. And then these are setup instructions for the parents for some labs. This is an overview of all your assignments. Something like this, I probably do keep it in their portfolio for the school year. And then we have grading. These also are on there. So this is to grade their research questions that they have. Also, their lab report grading is also in here to grade their labs. So I like that Homeschool Journey Academy really lays everything out. But this is where they go into their own dashboard and they click on their thing, and this is what it would look like inside. So all their lessons are down on the side, and when they click into their lesson that they're currently working on, it will give them everything that they need to do for the week or more than a week. Sometimes they can be a lot. And so then you have to check all of these off before the next lesson opens. And sometimes it takes up to like an hour for it to be available. So these are your videos. And this is like vocabulary review. So you just click it and then click the card to give you the definition, which is cool. And yep, so this is what it looks like. Sometimes in this area they will have a lab video, especially in bio, because sometimes, you know, people don't want to dissect all those animals, so they do have videos in there. And then it shows you this is the thing, this is your research question, so you can go and click this and find your research question for this lesson. And then if you click again, chicken wing dissection, your lab. So, okay. That's what it looks like inside once you get inside Journey Homeschool Academy. Last thing I will just say is our experience from using biology. It did take us longer to do. If you are not really starting this at the beginning of the school year, you might not finish it by the summertime. Because this is a high school course, I did want them to finish. There's like some, you know, courses like reading looks fuller based on how many books you read and stuff. So for me, I really wanted them to finish this and have a completed graded layout. And so my current sophomore has finished his. My junior is actually still working on finishing his. So we will be moving on to chemistry soon, but I had a good experience with this. I would say the only thing from biology that it taught me was not to buy the book. I didn't buy the book, but I do have other books. Like, for instance, I actually have it sitting here next to me. It's The Disappearing Spoon, and we're going to try to get through this. Which we haven't started yet because we haven't started chemistry. So The Disappearing Spoon is one of the things that I want to do. And I also have a book called Chemistry Made Easy, which if they need more work on the things that they're doing, I will actually use this and pull it out. And then the last thing I have is the info. I have a graphic novel for chemistry, which before they start chemistry, I'm going to get them to read that. So it kind of like warming them up for chemistry. And so, yeah, that is what chemistry is looking like for our homeschool year. And not trying to add too much to it, but using things to like help them along the way and not, you know, let it be a struggle. I think both of my kids are really going to like chemistry. They're not really biology kids. So I feel like this year is probably going to be, yeah, much more like excitement in doing it. I was happy with all the videos last year. Even they addressed like, you know, the human body and male and female parts and all of that stuff. I was very happy with the videos. And sometimes when my kids feel like they're long and drawn out, they will fast forward and be like, especially when it's like referencing Bible stuff, sometimes they're just like, oh, can we just get into it? And, you know, that's how they respond. But it was a joy, and that is why we are continuing with Journey Homeschool Academy. Honestly, next year, I don't see why we wouldn't be doing physics. And so, yeah, this is going to be something that they probably use until they graduate. And even, which is funny, my now 7th grader, he was like, I want to do that. And he actually was watching some of the videos when they did biology last year because he was very interested. So we'll see where next year leads us. I honestly, at this point in the game, am not even thinking about next year because I am just really at a place where I'm like, I could take a year off and just, not a year off from homeschooling, but just a year off from the running and all of that. And honestly, right now, our life is very busy. We are working hard and running strong and really trying to get things in place so that we could, number one, get a bigger home, because you see, like, all of my teacher stuff is right here in my dining room on 2 cards. And so honestly, I couldn't teach and do the things I do if I did not organize my stuff. So yeah, there's no way. So anytime I feel like my brain's going crazy, tip for the end of this video is that I always organize my homeschool stuff and be like, oh snap, wow. The other thing I will tell you, update that we're doing this year, is that they have their individual folders, but I also did like we have a calendar that we got, one of those calendars for the wall now, and so they do have to check off their routine in the morning. We are definitely getting better with that, and so they are not allowed to do anything else or start their schoolwork unless their routine is done, and I'm really liking that. And so it's getting them really in a better habit. I feel like some of my kids have a hard time sleeping, and so I don't know whether that's just because it could be a screen thing. My kids like being on the screen. I wish they wouldn't be on the screen. And so honestly, side note, if their laptops broke, I wouldn't be mad. Anyway, but we have one central computer. Yeah, my older two took the PSAT. Not my older two, but whatever. They took the PSAT and we got the results back. And honestly, taking the CLT and the homeschool boss, they were kind of in the same spot. And so I felt like, oh, I kind of already knew how they were going to score. And so, yes, we will be working on some improvement. I know their math is not, they're not like in a high math class, so I was expecting it not to be great. But for the purpose of the SAT, I probably will end up getting a tutor or something like that. So my 2 are college-bound kids, so they want to go to college, and my son is set on CIA, even though they do have a high acceptance rate. My second one, we'll see. He doesn't really know where he wants to go yet, so yeah. But things are working, coming along. I'm now we're starting back morning time. It's mandatory. I was going to let it go, but then I was like, no, because honestly, this really might be the last year we have morning time. And so morning time and individual time are 2 things that I'm incorporating, because with individual time, I have some folders here that just have things in it, and it's individual work, and I have the time that I meet with each of them. And so, yeah, I'm trying to work with them on things that they need work with, and not letting everybody sit through that, because if you know it, you know it, and you don't need to be sitting in the same thing somebody else is doing, right? And so yeah, that's what that's looking like. I'm not trying to be doing 10,000 things, you know, with everybody if they don't need it. And so that is what our homeschool is looking like right now. Things are looking up. I'm just taking it one breath at a time, y'all. One breath at a time. But everything's good. If you guys have any questions about Journey Homeschool Academy, just let me know, and I will, you know, make another video, or I'll just answer it in my next video. In my last video, I did say feeling like kids are behind, and I know sometimes people feel a certain type of way when people say behind. And when I say behind, I think that I'm referencing like my child's, for instance, my child's in the 12th grade, and he still has a hard time with the main topic, or the inference, or inferences, I should say. And so, yeah, when I say that, I mean it in a way like, oh, there's a really big like gap of something that should have been learned that's not learned. And so I feel like I'm learning them more and more all the time. But the great thing is that with the world today and online, you can go find something and cover something in 2 days, 1 day, and it doesn't have to be that serious. So yeah, enjoying being more of a teacher and helping them improve where they need to improve, and it not being felt as like embarrassing, or, you know, people are judging, like, oh, your child is still, and I kind of had to come up at that too. And I know another homeschool mom said on YouTube, like, you are not the product of their work, and so we are meant to meet them where they are. Take it out on ourselves like we're the ones that's messing up. No. Your child, especially as they get older, their work becomes their responsibility, and if they want to strive to go far, they will do it. If they want to slack, they might have to work a little bit harder in the end, but at the end of the day, it's still not on you. So take that with you. Thank you for following along and watching, and I will check you out in my next video. Check that out right there. Bye. Subscribe.